Welcome everyone, this is Pilot Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at Blaze News and LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Werendis.
Hello everyone.
And Krister.
Hello.
Hello everyone. And today we have some news in store relating to the Honor server. But first, let's head into the Farmers Fair because the Farmers Fair is now open. This, of course, is the Farmers Fair, and which combines not only the Farmers Fair but also the old Midsummer Festival before the Wedding Festival came around. And Standing Stone Games has posted a Farmers Fair guide to talk about how to get started and what's new for this particular round. And this includes, in addition to that, your links to some of the favorite ones, Fibro Jedis for general items about everything you need to know about it, and of course Deco de Malou, who talks about the cosmetics there. Now, has anyone had a chance to go to the Farmers Fair yet?
I have.
Anything?
I'm kind of disappointed that they have changed the races, like at Thorns Hall and the Hobbit race, to only once a day, because those were really impossible with RNG to hardly. I mean, it took me, I think, 2.5 years for both of the characters that have the heave emote. I can't imagine how long it's going to take people to get that emote now, because you can only do it once a day, unless you want to pay Mithril to reset it, but...
Oh.
Okay, so you mean that the race actually happens more than once a day, it's just that you can only do the quest
You can
once a
only
day?
do the quest, and you can only do it once a day. You can do it any time in that 24-hour period, but I don't really understand this change. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I'm glad that I kind of thought it would be funny to get it on my brawlers, but I'm not even bothering trying to do those, because it's like 5 years later, I might have it for both of them.
5 years later.
Well,
maybe
that's just my grouse,
All right, because I know that they also changed the reward balance on losing on there, but I think that there was a deed involved in it, wasn't there? And that what the problem was?
Well, it's 2 tiers, because first there's the deed where you have to win the race for each participant in both places, and you get Lucky Duck. And then after that deed has fired off and you have that title, each one of them has to win 3 times again to get Picky Picker and get the heave emote.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
How am I supposed to have my characters throwing up on Mazog's feet if you're making it this difficult?
Maybe if they're worried about the reward tokens or something like this, maybe they should have just had a lower reward version of it that at least allows you to advance the deed.
I don't know. I just know that it feels like it's going to be just about impossible now.
I'll never throw up at this pace.
Only 2 of my characters can throw up, and the rest of them are just going to have to, I don't know, do Hobbit Dance 1 on Mazog's corpse. Anyway. I'm very disappointed.
Well, dancing and vomiting, I mean, the only thing you're lacking is food, and you got a Hobbit party, so, I mean...
Ironically, one of the 2 that can do the heave emote is a Hobbit, so... I just thought for RP purposes it'd be hilarious to get it on my brawlers, but yeah.
Oh well.
Kind of disappointed that it looked like one of the new costumes was basically a reskin, and there were no new mounts. Oops, Sorry, I hit my headphones. The donkey pet is adorable, and the mushroom hound is also very amusing. So, good job on the pets. Like those really well. Yeah, and if you're worried and you didn't make it through the reward track and didn't get that mountaineering donkey, get yourself to the farmer's fair. It's a really cute donkey pet.
Okay. Now, when I saw that the name of the hound was the Tome of the Mushroom Netherhound. Netherhound, what was it? Does it go through a nether portal or something?
Well, I mean, it is a basset hound. If it does, you probably could hear it coming and going. At least for many basset hounds I've ever been around, they like bay and run, and it sounds like a herd, even if there's only two of them.
Right.
Mad props to my English teacher in high school's two basset hounds, Winston and Clementine. Yes, named after the Churchills.
Now, I do wonder, though, about the wisdom of putting a boat of yard. I'm seeing here that one of the words here is a rowboat, but of course, furniture item doesn't exactly go out into the water all that much.
Oh, come on. I've heard plenty of stories about people like building a boat in their backyard or on top of their apartment building,
Well, I am thinking there's a couple of places. Imagine one of those boats in the gold pools in the Erebor Estates. Also in the Erebor Estates, see, I have a geode house, and it's got the water like on either side, like the bridge that you go to. I bet I could put one in a hook and drag it over and get it into the water.
Okay, I guess that might work.
Not really sure if that's what they had in mind, but
yes, the only thing I can think is if somebody is putting their boat on the side is where they're winterizing the boat or something, so that it'll be at some location when out of season. But they're giving it out during the farmer's fair when it's in season.
Paying for a slip at a marina is very expensive, Pine.
Okay, you got a point there.
Just put it in your backyard.
All right. You got a good point there. All right, yes, you're right. Those marina slips, I'm sure, are expensive. Then again, maybe unless you live in Buckland, then I would say the average hobbit outside of Buckland probably thinks that the best place for a boat is on dry land.
Perhaps, just perhaps.
Yes.
This is the very, very first rowing machine ever produced in Middle Earth.
Oh, a rowing machine! I didn't think about that.
With oars, yes, because you also can get oars. I'm waiting for people to be clubbing the second boss in the Hidden Horde raid with an oar the next time you're running, Krister. I really hope that somebody at least equips the oar that you can hold.
Well, they already have to suffer in most of our raids lately. They've had to suffer through being attacked with a lumberjack wielding a shovel. So I think adding oars to this would be just perfect.
I have to check and see whether we can gift Calabathian an oar, if that's something that can actually be sent to somebody, if it's bound or not, because the lumberjack needs an oar.
The lumberjack needs an oar.
That would be perfect. In fact, that makes total sense for our camp to have an oar-wielding lumberjack. That makes sense. I like this very much.
The craziness ensues. Anything else anyone wants to say about the Farmer's Fair? Then let's go on to the Honor server, because the Honor server has reached parity in levels with the servers. Thus, they have announced that Honor will be closing on August 31st, and that you have until December 31st to transfer your characters offset world. So they do have a FAQ here. Now, the Legendary World Honor will be closing to public login on August 31st, 2022, and the world formally becoming unavailable for login after the regular weekly restart first. So that means you don't have until the end of the day of the 31st. You have until the last time you can log into Honor would probably be about 8 a.m. I think it's usually around when they do their restarts on theirs. So at 8 a.m. on the 31st, and that of course is server time. So if you have anything you want to do on Honor for one reason or the other, do it before then. Through the end of the year, though, free character and shared item transfers will remain available from Honor to any other non-legendary game world. No, you cannot transfer your character to Treebeard or Shadowfax. You can only bring it to one of the servers that aren't legendary at the moment. Those are all the ones that are at 140.
Well, now the way that you're speaking about it sounds like I can't even transfer my character to a Minecraft server. Sorry. I'm feeling very disruptive. I'm fully caffeinated.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
There's a... After December 31st, 2022, the Honor game world will be closed permanently, and any remaining characters will not be available to be transferred or accessed. That means get it off before the end of the year, or just say goodbye to it forever. Kinship leaders should log in to abandon or sell their kinship houses before August 31st to allow for successful character transfer. Mail does not transfer, so please log into all your characters before August 31st to detach any mail attachments. Thank you. For the FAQ, how can I preserve my existing characters currently on Honor? Players can transfer their characters and items from Honor to any other non-legendary game world for free using the transfer button available after logging into the game launcher with your name and password. In other words, just log in. You have that transfer button that you have to log into the server. Will Honor eventually have its character and account data deleted? Yes. Players have through December 31st, 2022 to transfer their character shared items to Honor. After that time, characters items will no longer be transferable, and customer support will not be able to assist players in recovering those characters or items. In other words, effectively deleted, and more likely than not, soon after that, literally deleted. Can I transfer to a US European game world? Yes, characters created on Honor do not face the same historical technical restrictions between US and European game worlds that our other servers do, so characters can transfer to any server they would, or I should say non-legendary server, of course. Once a character has arrived on a US or European destination game world, the technical restriction will once again apply and will prevent the character from being transferred to a different game. Will prevent the character to a different type of world. In other words, if you go to a US world, then you're permanently on US worlds. Go to European world, permanently world to transfer. Do I need to abandon my kinship home as a guild leader in order to transfer away from Honor? I think we've already answered that, but they once again reiterate this. Yes, kinship leaders should log in to abandon or sell their homes by August 31st to allow successful character transfer. What do I need to do with premium housing on Honor? Please sell your premium house through the main character house in exchange for 100% of the housing writs used to purchase your home prior transferring to your intended game world. That way, you'll be able to bring those housing writs with you and will be able to buy a replacement home on the new server. But remember, it's now 100% housing writs instead of the usual, not nearly as good deal for selling your home.
Yes, that's a very generous offer.
Of course, you may also want to instead use it to apply it to a different home if you wanted. I don't know the exact debate, but I think, for example, Rohan airborne housing might be a little bit more expensive than the Gondor ones. So you may have to get some more housing writs to make up the difference in that case.
Although good news, that's the sale this week is housing writs. Do it now.
Yes. This is a good time in which to get them, is to get to a server, find out which house you want on the new server, and then buy any housing writs that you need for that. What about my name? A player who transfers a character where the name is already in use will be renamed, probably with a tilde 2 or something. Where's it dash?
I think it's a -1.
Okay, or -1, -2, right? Which
Yeah.
whatever is the number that's available then. If you are renamed, you can change your name at any time by using the /change name. But that new name must also not already be taken in order for the change to occur. So that means, for example, when I transfer my character from Honor to another server, it's going to make me Piney-1 because every single server I know of has a Piney already. And that concludes the FAQ. Anyone have any other questions? Then that's it for the Farmers Fair. That's it for the on our closing FAQ. So let's head into our store sales. And Berendis, what's on sale this week?
Well, as I already said, it's 30% off select housing decorations, select housing writs, housing property writs, select cloaks. That's through the 18th of August. And the weekly coupon is a free tome of defense. Those last 6 hours now with the coupon code Defense Buff. That's DEFENCEBUFF through the 18th of August.
Tricking us with British spelling. And that's it for that. So let's head into our weekend gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, our Friday night, we had a very satisfying run, honestly. We had we almost filled, and we just needed DPS, so we punched some DPS and got some good people in there. We had a couple people that have been raiding T3 Hidden Board, and their advice has been invaluable. So we made the most progress we've made, and we almost got the boss 2 to the chandelier phase. So that was a big deal for us. And unfortunately, it just spun out of control all of a sudden. It was going very smoothly at that point. Pine Leaf, as you've seen too, is as we're approaching that second boss, there's some incredibly difficult pulls. And those pulls were going very well. We managed it very well. And so what we're having is the people that have complex tasks are getting those tasks down without direction at this point. So that's where things are starting to really click, and it showed last night. It was really awesome. And then, basically, Krister infamously is still banned, still on notice in Harwick. He still hasn't cleared up his legal troubles there. And of course, my Orkin ESO is getting himself banned from gambling houses across Tamriel. So at least I'm consistent in terms of having problems with local authorities in various MMOs. So and then this week, I have actually one of my most implacable foes has risen once again and thrown the gauntlet down. So I took Stellaris out. I bought the new expansion for it, and I've been playing that because now my nephew and I are going to have a game. So he has humiliated me many times in the past, but now maybe I'll just lose, but I won't be humiliated this time. So and Guerre, what were you up to this week?
Well, in LOTRO, my Hobbit lass is doing the fair for the first time. She is my punchy, shouty brawler. Dressed like a lady, doesn't act like one. Uh, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun actually just running around doing that, but I'd forgotten how interminable all the fishing can be. But I really want the Sunshine title, so every day I'm doing the 20 minutes for
Oh,
each place so that, after 4 days, I'll finally get the title. In ESO, I managed to get my PvP skills up to level 6 on my Argonian, so she has the ones I wanted for her to be a good healer. They suggest that healers have aggressive horn because that's like a buff for the group as far as damage and crit. And then I've got the barrier skill that I'm leveling up because that's a really good one, even outside of Cyrodiil, for protecting the group. Putting basically it works sort of like the minstrel bubble skill for the whole group, the whole fellowship type of thing. It adds like a shield to everybody. So yeah, I'm very happy to have done that and had a lot of fun actually. Kind of um, ran up on a group that was just breaking into a fort and helped flip the fort. I was throwing out heals from a distance because squish, so squish. But that was a lot of fun. And this same character then has helped Lunar get his orc up to level 50. That is set up kind of like a tank. And now we're working on his Nightblade. So yeah, having to find newer, different skills because not necessarily a character that can just run up or grab aggro in ESO. So yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning, but I'm enjoying it. I like my Templar for the DPS, but I need to get good and get into some trials and stuff to get better gear if I'm going to be quote meta and really powerful on her. I'm enjoying the Argonian because I can do both heals and like buffs, debuffs, things like that. It's kind of challenging, fun way to think through things really quickly on my feet. And the other thing is I got a new game just earlier today, and I already love it, even though I've only played it about 30 minutes. It's called Witchwood. That's with a Y instead of an I in Witch. Witchwood. I'd seen it a while back, just like advertiser, like on YouTube or something. Somebody had been playing it, and then Professor Teacher G was streaming it. It's like a crafting adventure game. The music's great. The art style, the graphics, I really enjoy, and it's on sale right now on Steam. If you're listening to this live, or until like the 15th of August. So if you listen to this right away, when it gets posted, you might be able to catch it still. But yeah, I was really enjoying that. I'm kind of looking forward to getting some time to just go back and play it some more and figure out how it works. What have you been up to, Pine?
What have I been up to? My Rohan brawler was rebuilding Bootbold. I'm getting pretty close to finishing up that. I've got kindred with two of the factions. So that's working along pretty well. And I'm getting pretty close to getting kindred with the other two going along in there. I managed to today do that tightrope, silly tightrope got in.
I have yet to complete that on any character.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So I actually managed to get that done today, and yesterday I was surprised because yesterday was when I managed to climb up the stupid beacon. So got most of the quests done. Now when
um, I was giggling because I there's at least two different captains in my kin two different players that have captains that have them parked up there in case somebody needs that. So if you're having problems again, let me know and I'll see who's on and whether we can fix it up for you. I'll just have
as
them
I said,
summon you.
I got up, so there's no problem on that. So that's all done. Anyway, that was on Crick Hollows, so tricky if they were on a different server. So we had that, but the thing where I did have trouble was on a couple of the fishing quests because it was hard to tell. Thinking, all right, how many attempts do you need in order one where you're supposed to grab that creature? I wasn't sure whether how you know whether or not you've successfully caught it and have to switch out your fishing pole for your weapon. Because, of course, once the monster appears, you're in combat and you can't change your weapon after that point. So what I had to do is I switched a little bit too late. I had this monster coming at me, and the brawler can't use any skill. Now, of course, it's pretty ridiculous as a brawler, considering that the main thing you would have to do concerning the fishing pole, from a thematic point of view, is drop your weapons because you got your fists there. But I've got this fishing pole in my hand, and I can't switch out the fishing pole, and I can't do a single one of my combat skills. So what I had to do is I had to run away, then come back as fast as possible so that the Avok doesn't disappear. I don't know if it despawns or stays there long term or anything like this, but when I finally got out of combat, I turned around and then hit my move very, very fast skills so I could get back in there. Oh, actually, no, I made sure I switched into my gauntlets first. Then I ran back as fast as possible so that I could be able to kill it. That I also ran into fishing troubles when there were orcs passing by while I was trying to fish up in the area where you have to kill the goat in order to bloody the water so that you'll be able to do the fishing. So I had to work what?
Oh, I just had a thought. I know that my hurl object has fairly decent damage. I don't know whether.
Yeah, but hurl object wasn't working either.
Oh, now that is bad because that's like a skill. Well, that's like a skill though.
Yeah,
I
but
wouldn't have thought that would have been.
Yeah, I don't know why it depends on having gauntlets on, but it was because I had a fishing pole in my hand. It would not let me hurl object.
Didn't they change? There's that quest in Enidwaith where you pull the chain and the Avant comes up. I thought they kind of changed it where instead of having to be fishing, you just pull a chain as opposed to.
Well, the one where you're pulling the chain that had nothing to do with fishing. There was another one.
Okay.
There was one in Galtrev, I believe, that was an instant, which was one of the legendary item type instances where you're trying to. Well, I don't know if they changed rewards for it yet, because I know originally the rewards were relics. Going to one of the quests won't be much if they.
Well, what I love
if they never updated the reward for it, because
is that you've also advertised the Achilles heel at the Brawler. So now that I know this, from now on, I'm just going to be carrying 10 or 12 fishing poles with me. And if I ever encounter a Brawler, I'm just going to go think fast. And then when they catch it, then I'll go ahead and beat them up at that point because they can't attack me. Is that proper logic?
It's Krister logic.
In any case, I don't think I had an opportunity to test out that Galtrev quest, that instance, to see if they updated it or if they got rid of it or whatever they did to get around that. I was intending at one point to check it out, but I think at the time I was going to check it out, they had not yet updated the rewards for it, so there was absolutely no reason to ever want to run the quest anyway. So if they've updated the rewards for it, then I hope that they've also updated the quest so that you can actually complete it. If I remember correctly, when you fished up something, you wind up being attacked by something like turtles and stuff like that. Maybe even an Avant to go back to what Werendis might have been thinking of. So yes, that was a real joy on that matter. But I think I've got only one fishing quest left, and I think they're mobs in that area, at least I hope. Perhaps things will go better on that one. Now, for Friday Night Fight, we ran some fellowship skirmishes without the benefit of a tank. We're running 6-player instances. We first tried the one that's Festival Quest that's in the Rift. And I guess the recommendation there is don't attempt that without a tank. that's probably our conclusion, that we quickly came to that after getting ripped very, very quickly. So we ran a couple of skirmishes. We ran Stormal Methodist. That was without trouble. We ran. I can't remember what the other instances were. We ran a couple of skirmishes plus an instance. One that I remember the most though was Stormal Methodist. And then in DDO, my Tabaxi headed into the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Ooh.
So seeing how well I could do that on a monk, and I managed to get through that without too much trouble in there. But I only did part 1 of the temple. I did not do part 2 of it. And because part 2 is a completely different. Part 2 is one that I have never successfully completed part 2 of the temple, because the final boss in there is just say easy death for me. We currently have 15 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, you can go to the nation's page to support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. We have no emails this week, but if you like since one, you can send it to podcast@lotrplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, and LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers. Arendis @Arendis, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, Terryadwin @Terryadwin, Guarendis @Guarendis, Calabathian @Calabathian, and Krister @PEngine1. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. We have LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can join us for our shows at lotrplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.